Coming back home from a long shift at your day job, leaving you zero energy to work on that thing that you love, that thing you've got so much passion for. It can leave you feeling soul destroyed because you've got no time, or feel like you've got no time or energy to work on it. I've been mixing music and working with artists for over 10 years. And since lockdown, there's been a big increase in the amount of mixes I'm doing for people from all over, people that I've never met in my life, all remote work. So if you're thinking about leaving your job and doing this full time, there's some things you need to think about first before you take that leap. So if you're thinking about quitting, just take some notes on some of the stuff that I've learned throughout my years of mixing, doing remote work, and just working from home, just here in the studio, and just the good stuff and the bad stuff. So first of all, I've been mixing over 10 years now, so probably around 12 years I've been mixing, and absolutely love it. I don't know if I prefer making beats, producing music, or mixing. I can't, as a creative, it's like you don't really want to just do one thing. You're always doing other stuff. But some people just like to mix, and that's up to them, but it's not for me. I'll get bored. So over the 12 years, I built up a nice little portfolio, a nice little clientele, and it's continued to grow. It's continuing. It's ongoing. It's always growing. Clients coming back, clients leaving, just life in general. I just want to talk about, if you're thinking of leaving your job, these are some of the things that you need to consider and hopefully have in place. You don't need to have everything in place, but some of these things that I'm going to tell you about will be good to know, because at least you get a heads up and you get kind of a head start to what to expect on your journey. So first of all, let's talk about the experience. How long have you been doing it? You don't need to have been doing this for years, but if you are thinking about mixing full time for clients, mixing their music for them to put it out on Spotify and all these other platforms, then you're gonna need to have some kind of experience. Obviously we learn at different rates, so you could be one of them type of people that learns really quick, but the learning never stops. So I just feel like you need to have a certain amount. You need to have a certain amount of experience, and I feel like with the experience, it gives you confidence as well. There's some people who've gone to unis, colleges, like I've been to uni. It did kind of make me feel like, I've got a degree now. I've got that. What's the word? Not bragging rights, like kind of like credentials. I've been to uni, I've got a music degree, but I can say that there's loads of people who don't have a degree but have the experience. I don't know if you've seen that table tennis tournament, table tennis match, where the old guys the experience and then the younger ones the one with the degree, and he's just getting played about all over the place. So experience is one of the key things. I'll get straight to the money part. If you're thinking about leaving your day job, I'll say it'd be a good idea for you to have at least 6 months savings, so that if you don't have no clients at the moment, you can kind of fall back and start dipping into your savings if you have some dry months. So just have a few savings, give yourself a little safety net. Like I said, if you have any dry months, at least you've got that to fall back on. So just to go back onto, if you're thinking about leaving your job, there is a risk. You have to weigh up the risk. Is it feasible? Is it feasible the right word? You might have commitments, you might have responsibilities, kids, house, mortgage, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it is. You could have some type of commitment that will hold you back. So you have to kind of think whether or not these things, you can weigh these things up, and leaving your job to do your music full time outweighs the risk. Do you know what I mean? So you have to really think about taking a risk. But like they say, the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward. I'm laughing because I don't want you to just leave your job today and say that, I watched a video from Casey and he said, yes, if the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward. So don't do that and come back and blame me. So just think about it. Talk to the people who's around you, if you have people around you that are important to your decision, if it's going to affect them. So how do you find clients? How do I find clients? What I used to do is, how do I find clients? Because I've been doing it for so long, and I feel like I've built up a social media presence, which is something I'm going to talk about later. I get a lot of DMs I get a lot of emails for people asking me to mix their music. So I don't really have to go out there and find, I don't want to sound like I'm bragging or it's like I'm pompous, but I don't really go out there to ask people if they need their music mixed. I might do every now and again. If I hear someone's music and I feel like I could do a better job, I will say to them, oh, do you know that I'm a mix engineer? I can mix your music for you if you need it. And I always tell them it's no shade on the mixes that have been done before, because I don't want to feel like I'm stepping on the next man's toes or woman's toes, stepping on the next engineer's toes. I don't want to do that. So for me, finding clients it's more of a case of just over time building that presence and attracting more than chasing clients. But there's no harm in you hitting up an artist that you've heard their music and you feel like you can do a better job. I'm sure you've heard it before. If not, if you haven't heard it before, DMs, hit them up in the DMs, hit them up in the DM, let them know who you are, let them know you like their music, you feel like you could do a good job on their mixing. And yeah, I never went down the free mixing route, but I did start off really low with my rates, like stupidly low. We talk about that in a bit, but yeah, my rates was low, and like I said, over time it's just built up to the point where it's more of a attract, don't chase sort of thing. I'm going to do a whole video on attract and don't chase, because I feel like that's a whole topic in itself, and I feel like that can help a lot of people. Even if they're not doing music, I feel like it can help a lot of people. So you found your clients, how do you keep your clients? Simple, just do good work. I've heard of a book called Be So Good That They Can't Ignore You, and I know it's probably talking about something else because I've heard like a little short review on it, but I heard it quite a while ago, and that's kind of been my thought process, like be so good that they can't ignore you. So just put good work out there. So that's one of the ways to keep your clients. Remember, when you're doing your mixes, you're putting music out there and you're working on stuff, it's your name that's on it, so you're gonna have to do your best work regardless of status of the artist that you're working with or the client that you're working with. There could be the artist from around the block or an artist who's well known all over the world. It doesn't matter, just do your best work every single time. If they don't come back, then that's just how it is. Sometimes you could do a mix for an artist and not really feeling it and they might disappear. Then you could do a mix for another artist, they absolutely love it and they just keep coming back, spending with you, working with you, and yeah, just that's how you keep your clients. Do you need a manager, and can you do it solo? I'm solo. I'm doing it solo. I don't need a manager right now. I think I could do with a manager. But do you need a manager? That's probably something that you need to work out for yourself. What's the manager going to do for you that you can't do? Are you going to have to pay this manager? How much work are they going to bring in? Like I said, would you be able to do that yourself? So that's something to consider when you're thinking of going full time. The thumbnail did say, is remote mixing viable? And I'm going to answer that at the end of the video, but I just want to give you these little things for you to consider first before you take the leap. So let's talk about what you should expect when you've gone full time as a mix engineer, as a beat maker or producer, if that's what you want to do. There's going to be some times when it's uncertain. There's going to be times when you're absolutely smashing it. You feel like DJ Payne once said, he feels like going shopping for a yacht. That's how it makes you feel, because you're doing so well. And then other times you're thinking like, when's this next job going to come in? And that could create a little bit of panic, but don't panic, because if you're at a decent place, you've got some savings and you're doing well, like if you do make some money, save it as well, save some, at least 10%, and try and spend less than you earn, because that will really help you in building up your money and peace of mind, because it's easy to make some money and then start to splash out on things that you don't really need. You could hold back. You don't really need that new shirt. You don't really need them new pair of trainers. You know what I'm saying? It's just because you've seen it and they're on sale, you think, yeah, click, I'll have them. No, you don't need it. Just, there'll be plenty more sales. So just build up your money first, get to a nice point. And like I said, it creates peace of mind. It makes you feel less worried about where your next job or your next gig's coming in from. So save. So like I said, some clients are going to be happy with your mixes. Some clients are not going to be happy with mixes. Don't take it personal if they're not happy with your mix and you know that you've put good work in. It's just one of those things that sometimes they just don't like the sound of it, and that's fine. Don't be afraid to say I don't think this is working out. Let's just draw a line under this and keep it moving. So I just want to talk about social media presence. What's your social media presence like? Because this is going to help you in bringing clients. I forgot to mention earlier that word of mouth is probably one of the best and biggest things that can help you to build a solid brand so that you can do this thing remotely and it's sustainable. So your social media presence, are you posting consistently, regularly, on different platforms? My platforms of choice is Instagram and YouTube, a little bit of TikTok, but there's this new pressure now to do reels and to do shorts, but just do whatever works for you, which comes into self-awareness and just knowing what works for you. You don't have to go on these social media sites and sing and dance and mime if you don't want to do that. Just do what works for you, do what makes you comfortable, build your social media presence, and that this will attract more clients for you to work with, more artists. So another thing to think about is, have you got a portfolio? Have you got credentials? What are your credentials? You don't have to have crazy credentials with a whole heap of artists who've made it and that gives you a load of clout. You don't have to have all of that. You can have a nice little portfolio of people that you've worked with over the years and just have it on like I've got a website where it will say KC Sounds production credits, and it's all the artists that I've worked with. And anytime someone comes into for a mix and they say, oh, what have you done before? I'll just send them the links to that one and then to the Spotify one and also my YouTube playlist that I've made. So that's probably something to think about, your portfolio, your credentials. Put them all in one place. If you haven't got a website, I would suggest to get a website, because if you're going to do this full time, then where are you going to send your clients to? So yeah, get yourself a website. Does age matter? Come on now. Of course it doesn't. It's music. You can do music from young age up until you're way old, so it doesn't matter. Whenever you start, whenever you feel like it's your time to do it, do it. Don't worry about what everyone else is doing. It's not important to you and your progress and your life. So no, age does not matter. Just do it, like Nike say. So how much are you going to charge for your mixing if you're not already charging clients for your mixes? I would say just do some research, look around. Be fair, what's the word I'm looking for? Be realistic in your work. Like, is your work really that good that it's worth the price that you're asking for? And you also have to bear in mind as well that if your price is too low, then you're just going to attract clients and customers who looking for like a cheap mix. So yeah, you have to think about it. I would place myself at a reasonable price so that you attract a certain type of client. So you're going to have to work that out for yourself. I started mixing. When I started mixing, this is another thing, just knowing your worth. I had no self-worth at all when it came to mixing and knowing what price I should charge. I was charging £25 for a mix. £25, you know. And I know for a fact that the artist is thinking like, £25. Wow. I can send you some more if you want. I know that was their thought process, but yeah, don't do £25 mixes. Just don't. It's not worth it. The time it's going to take you to do the mix, and maybe you're going to have to do some revisions. It's going to work out to be just not worth it. Yeah, you might as well have just done it for free. And there's no harm in doing some free mixes so you can build out your portfolio, your credentials, and just build your name so people know that your mixes are this. Another thing to think about as well is your time management and your discipline, your motivation, your inspiration. Are you motivated to get up in the mornings or stay up late at night to do your music and be self-aware of what works for you? Because you're not going to have no boss telling you when to clock in, when to clock out. You will have the artists demanding their work. Well, not demanding, but wanting their work. So you have deadlines. So it's always good to have a deadline. So you get a mix in or whatever. You say to me, yeah, I'll have that done in 3 days, 5 days. Next 24 hours, whatever it is for you, so that they know then that's what you're working towards. And this will give you, this will help you to get things done. So yeah, deadlines, being disciplined and just managing your time wisely, like not wasting your time on nonsense. At the same time, take breaks, look after your mindset, your well-being, because that's important and that doesn't get spoken about enough. Like, you don't have to work your socks off, work your kneecaps off. You don't have to, unless you really want to. But just take breaks, man. There's no harm in taking a little break and just resetting. Like today, just sat in, well, I didn't sit, but I had a shower and got like ready to do this YouTube video. And normally I'll have like YouTube videos on and stuff and just taking in information because that's how I do. But today I had like half an hour, 45 minutes of just silence. And it was nice. I enjoyed it. And normally in my mind, I've got like 20 to 50 tabs open. So, and then I feel like I had probably like 5 tabs. And it was calm because I had some good ideas was coming to me. And I think that's what happens when people talk about meditating and stuff like that. That's not really my thing. But if that's your thing, do it. There's no harm in, like I said, there's no harm in resting. There's no harm in taking days off. But just get your work done. Another thing to think about as well, when you're up and running, you've set up all your website, you've got your clients, you've got repeat clients, you've got your books are full. Are you gonna have attended or unattended sessions? Like I don't like attended sessions, if I'm honest, because I just like to zone out, do stuff, try things, and then send it to the artist. And then I have artists that will phone me and we sit and we just go through revision if we need to do a revision. But to actually sit in the session, I don't really want to do that. But some people might want to do that. It's okay if you want to do that, but I don't think it's really a thing now. We've got Zoom, we've got FaceTime, we've got emails, we've got calls, we've got texts. We can do that. It's easier. Then there's also the thing, do you think you can do it? Are you good enough to do this? I think you are, because if you wasn't here watching this video, like, this could be your sign to actually do it. Like, take that leap, because sometimes you need to jump before you're pushed. And my circumstance, my situation, I was forced into doing this, because I would have just been happy to just continue doing my part-time job and be like, I'm just waiting on another sign. Like, I need another sign to make sure I'm doing this, and I need to have this certain amount of money saved before I really take the jump. But other times God's just going to be like, go on son, you can do this, go on. It can be a bit scary, can be a bit uncertain, but the rewards and the freedom that it comes with, second to none. There's some things for you to think about before you take the leap and do this. And do I think mixing remotely is viable? 100% yes. It's working for me, it's working for so many others, and it can work for you. See you in the next video.